Welcome to the Rewilding Womb, a space where birth, body wisdom, and feminine power are remembered and reclaimed. I'm Sabrina, an out-of-hospital midwife devoted to physiological birth, deep listening, and protecting the sacred threshold of pregnancy, birth, and postpartum.
And I'm Danielle, a photographer and doula, here to witness, support, and document the raw, transformative journey of being a woman. Together, we're having honest conversations about birth, postpartum, boundaries, and what it means to return to our instincts in a modern world.
This is the Rewilding Womb, where we trust birth, honor the mother, and come home to ourselves. Welcome to another episode of the Rewilding Womb. Danielle and I are here with my two daughters, Elizabeth and Helena. We want to talk to them about what was life like having a mom as a midwife. Both of these girls, also these ladies, these women, actually are moms as well. And so they have a unique and special journey into as moms just because of their own lived experience, which, as we know, our experiences and the things that mold us and shape us through our childhood and the things that we learn and that we're exposed to as adults affect our stepping into becoming a mother. And so I thought it would be really interesting to have two of my own daughters on the podcast so that you guys could get a perspective from growing up with a mom as a midwife and how that affects your journey into motherhood. And let's just get to know them a little bit. And I'm actually going to let Danielle ask some of the questions, but we both have questions that we want to ask the both of you. And so thank you all for being here for sure. And I know that what's beautiful is one thing I always try to emphasize and teach the women that I'm working with is that our mindset is very powerful and can really affect our outcome. And and so both of these women have a story to tell about how their mindset affected how their labor went, how their birth went. And so I'll let Danielle start out with a few questions.
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to ask you girls first, how was it growing up with a mom that was a midwife? Like I kind of know with being the on-call life and just growing up when you were going through school, sports, events, holidays, or just the general, like your thought process on what birth was in that space. Like, how was that with you growing up as ladies, as girls? Yeah, with
I
her.
felt like it was different because nobody else does that. It's
Yeah.
like I've never heard of anyone ever doing that before. So it's like, okay, my mom, like, she's cool. She can do that. That's cool.
Also, growing up with other people, they didn't know what birth was or even the idea of like what it even consists of. And we were just so open with
Yeah.
talking about birth from when we were really little because we were around it so often. Yeah.
And so, like, I know with, I've met, you guys in the birth space as well when you went into birth and helped her out too. So, like, your whole life that you know of is home birth. And the knowledge, just the advocation and just seeing just what home birth actually is. And that's what your general idea of what birth should be like. So kind of when you were in school, like, were you guys in public school? Did you do homeschool, private school? Um, what kind of questions did you get when you were growing up from your friends? I know you said that a lot of people just didn't
Yeah, they had no idea.
had no idea. Um, and I know with like my girls, just kind of putting it out there, like a lot of friends would ask like what I did, like, oh my gosh, like, oh, she attends births, like she sees all that stuff, like, oh my gosh. And I take photos too. So it's like, oh yeah, you're documenting all that stuff too. But like what are some things that you remember pretty vividly growing up that kind of just that stuck with you about, just having a mom that was a midwife and some things that you basically advocated for and told them as well, like, hey.
I just feel like everyone's just so curious. They're like, what even is that? What does that mean? So is she like a doctor? Like,
Yeah.
no, she's not a doctor, but she knows how to do stuff still.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think they just have no idea what that even means, because they're so used to just like what everyone else does, like, oh, you just go to the hospital and have your baby. It's like, what even is a home birth? Like, that's crazy.
It's funny. I'm thinking back as you're asking them these questions, and I like remember when I was a brand new student midwife, and we went to a rally we were having at Stevens Park one time. Remember, we were standing on the side of the road. We were holding signs. It was like, honk if you were born. And do you guys remember that stuff? When I was a student, we would go do stuff like activist type stuff to get the word out.
Yeah.
And even remember when we would go to we went to the Capitol that one time, and we were like passing cookies around, trying to like make them aware of home birth and that it's a valid thing and stuff. And so yeah, getting kids involved with doing stuff like that. And what's interesting is Helena was my last hospital born child, but she was like my first one that I had learned a lot during her pregnancy, that I was deciding to do things very differently. And I just didn't know how to switch from hospital birth to home birth so late in my pregnancy. But she was the first child I had that never received a vaccine. She has never received a vaccine. She's 24 years old now. And so her, and then Elizabeth came, there's a sister in between these two. And so Helena's 5 years older than Lizzie. 24. 4 years. 4 years. But anyway, so we would do those types of things when they were younger, and they would kind of enjoy it. They're like, we don't know why we're doing this, but it's cool, you know. Yeah. But then also when I was gone with being a student midwife, I mean, what do you guys recall from things like that? Was that a hard thing?
Right.
Was that something that was
Yeah, I think that definitely was the hardest part of your job.
Yes.
Is you like being on call all the time and having to leave. Like, I remember I think it was my 8th birthday party. We were roller skating, and you're like, I gotta go. Somebody's in labor. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, also when you were a student and going back and forth from Wisconsin.
Yeah,
that was the longest stretches you would do, because you'd be gone for a whole month at times.
Yeah, that was
Their
a lot.
training, and then you'd come back for like a week or two, and then you'll go back up for another month.
It was rough.
So yeah.
And that's what kind of I wanted to touch on. I feel like with birth workers in general, they don't understand what the on-call life is, especially if you have like to drop everything and leave. Like, I have left holidays. I was at, for a 4th of July celebration, like literally spent my day with like twin babies being born on the 4th of July, and like birthday parties, making sure my girls know. And I mean, that's all they know too of my work. I've been doing this for, almost 13 years now. So they just know, Mom, this is your work. And they know that I have this on-call life. And now that they're older, they do have some opinions about it, because now they're like, oh gosh, Mom's on call. You're on call. You can't go here, huh? You can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
so there is a little bit of like, I'm feeling like some pressure from my girls. And I feel like maybe like you can speak on that just a little bit. Cause I know it's there, when you were growing up. You guys are adults now, but like when you were like teenagers, what that felt like having a mom as a birth worker. Yeah. I'm curious.
I think at times I did not like it. Like, it sucked a lot. And I was like, why does she always have to leave all the time? But now that I'm older, it's like I realize that like she's doing important work. Like, it's not like she's just leaving for no reason to go do something. So now that I'm older, like it's not such a big deal to me. But when I was younger, it was definitely a lot. And I resented it at times, I feel like.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
I don't know. I just pretty much what Lizzie had. Honestly, when you were going through those things, I'm 4 years older than Lizzie, so I feel like I didn't really have, like, I was 16 when Lizzie. Like, I was 16 and already kind of know like what I'm doing in my life, when Lizzie was still going through the hardest times I feel like of you being gone. So, like for me, like I don't ever remember having like resentment or anything for you doing it or anything,
But
but
like
Micah, definitely our older sister. Thank God for
stepped in.
Micah.
She's the one who stepped
She
in
was
and
our
filled my
second
role.
mom for a
Yeah.
long time. So,
Yeah. And even the younger kids would call her mom sometimes.
oh, I remember catching myself accidentally calling Micah
Yeah.
mom,
Yeah.
even when I was a kid. So,
I mean,
She is 5 years older than you.
Micah is,
Like,
yes.
and I mean,
Oh,
like
yeah.
when you were at the beginning, when you were going to Wisconsin to train, like it was difficult with you being gone, but I think everyone realized that it's like she's pursuing like what she actually wants to do.
Yeah.
Like she's actually going after like her dream of being a midwife. So it's like it was hard, but at the same time, like we understood.
Yeah. And so these girls were competitive cheerleaders. And so they would go to Summit every year. And that's one thing I could never go to. I could never go to Summit because I couldn't get away.
Yeah,
So,
competitions were always dad, me and Lizzie there.
and
for sure.
but they got some good special bonds with their dad.
Yeah.
Because
Oh, yeah.
he was the only
Great
parent
memories.
that would take them all the way to Florida for Summit
Yeah.
every spring. So,
That is true.
but it's things like that that people don't realize that the families of midwives, a midwife can't do this work without a supportive family. Because if I had a house full of people constantly fighting against me about all of it all the time, it would have definitely made the job harder. So it's inspiring to me to hear that you say like, well, we at least we recognize that she feels like this is a really important work, and so we just made ourselves okay with it.
Right.
So that's nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice to hear that.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a really good supportive dad too that was able to communicate that with you as well and say, "Hey, Don, this, I'm going to take over here, or we're going to go do this together."
Yeah.
Which is awesome because that's what's needed. You need that partner, you need
Yep.
that support. And if you don't, it is a struggle, and that's when like the kids,
I couldn't do it.
yeah, no,
You wouldn't be able to.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure.
And you need that stability for them to like help balance it out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I also want to ask, like growing up or just in general, what were your thought process? So now that you're in school and you hear about the hospital births and people giving birth in the hospital, like what were you thinking during those times when you know that your mom obviously went to attended home births and that's all you know about? So what were your thought processes in that with when it comes to around centered around birth? Like, did you know that you wanted to be mothers? And did you know that you were wanting to have home births? And there was really nothing else that was going to change your mind? Or, like, I just want to know, like, what your thoughts were on that.
Okay, fun story. I had sidetracked, but it goes with this.
Okay.
The first time I ever saw a birth was my niece, our first niece being born, Emrys. And it was a home birth, and it was at my sister's. And after she was born, I think, what was it, like 2 or 3 years after that, I was like, I'm never having a kid.
Seeing that.
I was like, I'm never having a kid. I'm not putting my body through that ever.
Yeah.
And I think I was 16 whenever Emrys was born. And
Hey, Micah was barely 20. So you
So,
had to have been 15.
15, 16 when Emrys was born. And I was like, I'm never having kids. But it was like shortly after, like a year or two, I was like, no, I am going to have kids. Like, it's okay. Like, everybody goes through it. It just really is a mindset. But seeing my first birth, well, really, technically, my first birth was my Sadie when I was 2, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, you were standing right
Yeah.
next to the birth tub when Sadie was born, and you were just so excited and into it. But
I was only 2, so I don't
that-
remember that one. But
that situation when Micah had her baby, and you and Sadie Sadie is 22 right now, so she's right in between Helena and Lizzie.
Yeah.
And so Helena and Sadie Grace were at their older sister's birth when she delivered her first baby. And I am the type of mom, I feel like I know and believe deeply what's right, but I was that type of mom that when my kids became adults, I'm like, you're gonna do what you want to do. And I never put pressure on anybody of like, you need to have home births, you need to do this and you need to do that. They just decided on their own. So when my daughter came to me and was like, I'm gonna have a home birth and I want you to be my midwife, it was like this such a humbling and such like uh a blessing and an honor, because you hear midwives talk all the time but there's
Say
a
that?
midwives say it all the time. And they
Really?
always say you could never be a good midwife to your own child because you're going to get stuck in your head and be emotionally connected and all that stuff. But that kind of comes back to like the difference between me and other people, in that sometimes I feel bad, and it would be interesting to see your guys' response to this, but sometimes I feel bad because I feel like I haven't always been the most compassionate mother. And so I feel like that works well for being your midwife, because I don't get tied up in, oh, they're having discomfort, I want that to stop.
Right.
But I also feel like it's because I've experienced the empowering births of what birth can be, and I want them to have the overall experience. I'm not trying to get them to avoid discomfort, you know? And so it's different in that I feel like I'm fully capable to make important critical decisions in the time of birth. And I mean, my oldest daughter, maybe one day we'll have her talk about her births and stuff, but she's definitely had births that requires like a midwife to be fully attentive. That birth that you witnessed with Emerist when she was born, it wasn't just like this easy butter birth. I think both of you had easy butter births easily compared to her first few.
Oh, I agree with
And
that.
so anyway, like they've seen the real and the raw and all that stuff. And so it's just what has always been an honor. And so it was amazing when my oldest daughter wanted to have a home birth, and she was like, I want my two sisters to be there. They can be your assists. I don't want anyone else. I don't want you bringing anyone else, but you can train Sadie and Helena to do what needs to be done. And so that's what it was. It was me and the two sisters attending their older sister. And so it was so funny, her response, because she was so shocked. And I think, and you tell me what you think, but I feel like it was because you had to see your sister go through the raw vulnerability of what labor requires.
Yes.
And you never saw that side of your older sister, would you say? Or what?
I never really thought of it that way, but it definitely does make sense.
Well, the fact
For it
that
to be put
labor
that
just
way.
will break you down, and it's the hardest thing you've ever done, but yet the best day of your life.
Oh, yeah.
You know
You
what I
literally
mean?
come out of it a different person.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. But I think you watching your older sister that you looked up to and admired so much, having to go through that, I think it affected you in a way of like, that is huge and that is crazy. And I don't think I want to do that.
I think that's probably more what it is. Like it was just such a impactful, intense situation, and I think that's what scared me originally from birth, especially seeing Micah's, because she was my older sister that was like a second mom to us when we were growing up. So yeah, I never really thought of it that way until you're putting it that way, but now it's making sense in my brain on why I was like, I'm never having a kid.
And just seeing how
After
hard she had
that.
to work.
Yeah.
Like, seeing how hard she had to work to
Yeah,
let go and trust and
yeah,
do it.
for
The
sure.
biggest, most miraculous, difficult thing a human body can possibly do.
Right.
Mhm.
It's
Raw.
it's
There's
amazing.
the raw emotions that come out of that and the energy that you feel from that.
Yeah.
It can scare someone. Like it's if until you sit with it and be like, oh wow, okay, that raw emotion just transformed and then gave birth to this new life. So like when you think of it that way, it's like it opens up this whole other world of like what the power, the strength that we as women have, and like sitting with that and then honoring it in a way where it's like that means that transition in life to evolve our, so I talk to my girls about that too. Like we're always talking about birth. I do birth videos and films, and they see a lot of stuff and they see it repeated over and over and over again in with my space and at home because I'm working on these videos for weeks at a time. So like my youngest comes over and sits with me and like likes to watch things. And they're so like now they see it so much. So it's like this is just part of that what you need to go through in order to bring your baby into this world. And they see things like hospital. I mean, it's all over the media. It's in movies of like women in labor and they're laying on their backs and you have an OB that's in
Screaming in
between their
pain.
Yeah, like
legs,
screaming at the top of their
grabbing
lungs.
the
Yeah.
babies like from their feet still. Like they have like still films like that. They're just like grabbing the babies and bringing them up and then plopping them down and rubbing them aggressively. And my youngest would be like, that's not how it's supposed to be. I mean that, and she was born in a hospital, and she'll say, "That's not how it's supposed to go down, Mom. Like that's terrible. They shouldn't be showing this."
Yeah.
And I remember something, and this is something I'm going to talk about real quick with my girls. My oldest, when she was in elementary school, she was in second grade, and people were talking about where babies come from. They're like, "Oh, where do babies come from?" And everyone like has stories of like, "Oh, comes from the belly button. They come out of the belly button," or their kids will say this. "Oh, the belly button is what opens up and has the baby come out," or things like that. And then my daughter was like, "No, they come out of your vagina." So
That's
I got
awesome.
a
Oh my
email
goodness.
from the school stating that, "Hey, just letting you know, your daughter was talking to some students and talking about." I'm like, "What's
I
that?"
mean, she's not
That's
wrong.
like
She's
that's
not
the
wrong.
anatomy of like our bodies. Like she's
That's
just
the proper
correcting
name of it,
them.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting because that's why like I wanted
School
to
is
hear.
lucky they never sent me an email like that.
I was like, so I wrote, I'm like, no, this is not. So, anyways, yes, that it's just I get some things when it comes to it's the parents' job to talk with their own kids about that discussion when it comes time, because I'm pretty sure those kids went home and like, what's a vagina? Like, what
Oh,
is
yeah, for
like they
sure.
had no idea about their bodies. I mean, there's so many women that are like adults that don't know much about their bodies. And so like it just continues this process. But like with my kids, we talk about all the body parts and all the things and
Yes.
our functions
Especially
and
if you have one.
right. So it's like, why are we keeping that? And so that's something I want to ask too. Like, what is something that has stuck with you about having your mom as a midwife that has helped you understand your body more? Like, has she helped you just like body positivity, like just things that have helped you understand yourself and grow into the women that you are today, advocating as mothers as well? Like, this, what are some things that has
Yeah.
helped?
I think growing up with her being a midwife, it definitely like taught me how to just trust my body like when it
Yeah.
comes to birth, and like your body knows what to do. Like you literally just have to surrender to the process and just let go of everything. But also like with being a mother, it's like learning to just trust your instinct and like trust that what your kid needs as a mom. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that because they just like, I don't know, like I'm not like connected enough with my kid, I guess, to trust my intuition and my motherly instinct. But I feel like growing up around birth and around all of that, it's like so natural and normal. And it's like, I feel like it helps you to like have that bond like when you're a mom and to be able to just trust yourself with that.
I feel like for a majority of people, birth is more of like a medical, I don't even know the words to say for it, but like it's more of like a medical emergency. Like if you're in labor, you're rushing to the hospital. You're like listening to everything that this doctor is supposed to be there for you for. Like they're supposed to know the best thing for you. And I think people just get wrapped up in not trusting themselves or really just allowing their bodies to just do it, because now it's either like your birth isn't enough or something is complicating it. So I think that is what Lizzie said, is just we really were taught just to really surrender to the process of birth. And I think that was the most important thing for sure.
I think, yeah, Sabrina talks a lot about surrendering. That is
Yes.
like your
Like mindset.
Yeah.
that's that mindset.
Yeah. And I
For
feel
sure.
like what she was saying is like almost the biggest issue when it comes to birth, I feel like, is people like women are not taught to trust their bodies, and they're taught no, like
You don't
you
know.
have no idea what is happening with your body during birth. Like anything can happen. You have to be at the hospital and the doctor knows what is best for your body, which is like crazy to me because I'm like, no, that's how would somebody else know what's best for me when I'm going through it?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. That's just it's always been crazy to me to like even think that way. Because ever since I was young, I'm like, yeah, I'm having a home birth
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it'll be fine.
Yeah.
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 So I'm curious because our family has lost a baby due to birth complications in the hospital.
Yeah.
And that was before any of you ever had a baby.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious how did that ever make you doubt the confidence that you guys are talking about right now? What happened with Elias, or your older sister's first son, which was her second baby, but did that ever cause you to doubt and question, well, maybe I do need to trust the hospital? Or, I mean, did that ever cause any wavering or anything? How did that affect you guys going into becoming a mom a few years later? I'm just
I
curious.
honestly think it had the opposite effect on me. Like I feel like it made me even more to be like, no, I just want to be at home.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Like it didn't make me like be like, oh, maybe I like my body doesn't know what to do. That was never the case.
Yeah.
It almost it made me be like more I never want to have to go to the hospital.
Yeah. But I mean, I think the hospital is useful in the actual emergency
Yeah.
situations, but I think everybody still, even if you're in that emergency situation, you need to still be thinking clearly and knowing what your body is needing in that situation and having all of the facts before really making like rational decisions, while you're there.
Do you think you could have made a rational decision when you were in the throes of labor?
Me? I don't know, but I know the people around me would be able to.
And you
As
trusted
in
them?
you or Sadie or Micah or
Your husband?
I don't know.
Yes.
He gets flustered
Mhm.
by when it comes to birth and stuff. But like I
He did
know
better than you thought he would.
he did much better than what I expected. But but yes, I do. I don't know me personally, but I also never even thought of that being like a reality, honestly. So I don't know how I would react in that situation if I was put
It just makes me just so sad for the women because the majority, what you guys have chosen and what I've chosen and what we all think is the better option, it's 1% of the women in this state, And so my heart just like aches so much for those women who have to step into those scenarios where they are in the throes of labor and they can't make rational decisions.
Yeah.
And I'm just sad for that. And I'm just, yeah, because we are constantly advocating for women need to have people around them that they know and trust to do that for them when they
Yeah.
can't.
For
And
sure.
Like I feel like I was so when I was in labor, I was so like no regard for anything that was happening around me. And I feel like that was only that possible because I had full trust in like you and the people around me. Like I was like, okay, if anything happens, like my mom's here. Like she knows what to do.
He knows what to
Mhm.
do.
Like I'm fine.
Mhm.
So I feel
Also-
like that's only possible to get in that state of mind if you trust the people around you. Definitely.
Even if an emergency is happening, it's not like it's just out of nowhere
Yeah.
during home births. I have never seen something like that where it's just boom, it's like bad right now. It's like usually it's a building or some type of signs that are happening before you need to even go to the hospital that
Yeah.
you are fully discussing the whole time and know what's happening.
And it's really encouraging for you to say something like that because you were my primary birth assist for probably 18 months
Mhm.
and you helped with some hard situations.
Yeah.
And so it's I don't know if you want to talk about how your experience as like a assisting midwife or birth assistant affected also that decision or your trust in birth or your anything about your approach. Obviously, you had a baby at home, so it didn't scare you away from doing that.
Right.
Um, but is that something that made you realize like my mom does actually have skills that if something were to happen to me, she would know what to do? Or I don't know. I'm just throwing a thought out there if you
For
want to talk
sure.
on that at
And
all.
it really just kind of goes back to it being a mindset. It like I think the more births that I participated in, the more I saw women that didn't have the right mindset or there was something clearly holding them back of fully relaxing and letting it happen. Like you could tell like in the contraction if they were holding it back or not. And I think that even more so just taught me that I have to have the right mindset before I even go into labor and stuff. And I think that's one of the reasons why I had such an easy short labor was because I had all of that mental preparation for all of those births that I did help with. And even with the hard ones that I was with you on, like, I don't think I think I just did more mental work on myself than after that situation. And I knew that I was pregnant, but I never even thought about those situations while I was giving.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So
That's what we don't want it flooding your mind.
Right.
yeah.
Like,
Scary things that
so we're talking about mindset too. Like what were some of the things for both of you that you told yourself during labor? With you, being first time moms that choose to home birth, what are some of the things that like some re- repeating like affirmations that you gave yourself throughout your pregnancy and then during labor that you can remember that got you through those waves?
Something that really helped me is you have to remind me natural childbirth of Bradley way or something like that.
We both read that book.
that's the birth
I think-
Bible right there.
I think we've all read that multiple times probably. But in there it has like physical like pictures of like what your body is actually going through during a contraction and like what's happening when you're opening and like your body's trying to release. So for me, I really hung on to that visualization of exactly what my body was doing during the contraction. And that really, really helped me to stay as relaxed as I possibly could during the really intense ones and just thinking like I was opening. That's really the only
exactly,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like my whole labor, like during every single contraction, I'm like, okay, just relax. Your baby's coming down and your body's opening. Like that's the thought, the image in my head.
Also, for me too, I was always the one that was like, give me the hardest and most quick contractions so that I can be done with the birth as fast as possible. I didn't want all of the like pre-labor stuff or anything like that. So I was like, give me the most intense active labor you can and get the baby out of me.
But I think we both listened to the same like
Positive affirmations.
like
Yes.
we had affirmations playing
Yeah.
like the entire
It
time.
was like a Christian
Hypnobirthing.
hypnobirthing.
Yeah,
Yes, I love that. I played the positive affirmations the entire 6 hours it was in labor.
Yeah.
The whole time it was on repeat.
And I would listen to that like for like months before.
me too.
Like I would turn it on and
Every
I
time
would
I
just relax. I would listen to it when I drive.
car.
But like I would just turn it on sometimes when I'm laying in bed and just like focus on just relaxing my body as much as possible, focusing on my breath and being like,
she was
okay.
doing her homework.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
job.
Yeah. And I think that helped a lot whenever I was in actual labor. I'm like, okay, it's like the same thing I practiced. Like you just have to relax and just focus on your breath. And that's really all it is.
Yeah. So like visualization, that mindset, relaxing, releasing, educating yourself. Yeah. Cause I feel like with some women, they just like, they embrace their pregnancy and everything. But then when it comes to the actual labor process, they're just not 100% sure, and like birth is very unpredictable.
Oh,
So
very.
Yeah.
yes, so like you can think a certain way or plan a certain way or have like when I talk about birth plans, I'm like, this is just a birth, it's a plan, but just know that things can change and shift, and that's okay. And it's
Yeah.
okay, and it's okay to just sit with that for a moment or get your data, whatever needs to happen in order for you to make that next change from your birth plan. But just not to be so set into those ways because when you, especially for first time moms, I feel like we just don't know our bodies 100%. Because as much work as we do, we still have those moments of like, wow, what is this? Oh wow,
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
how much longer is this going to last? Like we have all these questions that start to flood our head, but it's understanding with that mindset to just release those tensions or release those thoughts and just be and accept what is.
Yeah.
And so I feel like with a lot of moms, it's like they try to control the situation. And I think that comes
Definitely.
naturally to women a lot of times is to try to control things and control our environment, but it's releasing that control in birth.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to talk onto like both of you girls with your birth stories. So we can go ahead and start with Lizzie if you want. I actually attended her birth as well. So, and I documented her labor, and my goodness,
The last little bit of
it
what
was just like wild. Like I was like, okay, hold up. And one thing that sticks with me with your birth, which I have never seen before, is when you birth that placenta. Like
just let it on.
that
It
was
just slipped right out.
so
It's like,
beautiful because your body that was showing how much you were just like letting go and releasing
Oh,
Letting
yeah.
it happen.
in that moment because a lot of mothers tend to tense up and it can be due to other things like, bigger babies sometimes put like pressure on the pelvic floor and then you got some swelling going on and sometimes that placenta it's a little harder to come out.
Yeah.
But you just like laid there and I remember Sabrina went over and she's like, let's check that placenta. And then just like, it's
Right
just
on.
like,
Yeah.
I'm like, it just beautifully just came
Yeah.
out. But and I think I have that on video too. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. But yeah, so I just kind of want to talk to you first about your experience during like pregnancy leading up to birth and just your overall experience of the birth with your mom there and your sister and your family there. And so kind of go over.
I feel like I had like a normal birth, I guess you would say. Like I had contractions like the whole day, like before I gave birth. They were like 15 minutes apart, but they were like all day. So I was like, okay, maybe this like tonight I'm gonna actually go into labor. So I like was already like that was a mental preparation for me to like actually like get ready for it, I guess. But yeah, I had contractions all day and then I don't think I got active until like 12 a.m. or something like that. I was like, I know I need to sleep because I don't know how long this is going to take. So I need to sleep. I never slept. I laid in bed and I was like, no, I cannot sleep. And like when I would lay down, the contractions would get so much worse. So I was like, no, let's just not do that.
Yeah.
But then like, I like nothing was picking up and then I got in a certain position in my bed and then it was like all of a sudden like oh my gosh this is intense and they're coming every like 2 minutes now.
Was that like 3 a.m., that 2 to 3 a.m. point?
No, I think that was at like 12.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, this is getting intense now. And then I don't even know. My time recollection of that whole time was completely wrong. Like it was way longer than I thought it was. But at some point I ended up waking up my mom and was like, okay, these are intense now. Like I just need to let you know. And then I ended up taking a shower and then just I don't know, like it was normal for me.
She definitely was the type of person she didn't need. She wasn't like, I need you to push on my back. I need this. I need that. She was just managing pretty, like you could tell they were getting stronger. They were definitely taking her full focus, but she was doing okay.
My whole like mindset also is like either I can surrender to the whole process and it's gonna go way faster and be less painful if I just give into it.
Less
Or I can
complicated.
fight the whole thing and fight each contraction, and then it's going to be way harder and take way longer. And I don't want to do that.
Mhm.
So I think like as soon as I got into the birth pool, I was just in my own zone. Like I had I don't know what was happening around me at all. I was literally in my own head the entire time. I was like, this is happening. I need to be like just fully focused. Like I was so in the zone, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it was crazy intense pain. Like I wouldn't necessarily say pain, but it was intense. Like the most intense thing I've ever felt in my whole life, of course. But I don't know, like it was just normal to me. I was like, yeah, this is just what's happening.
Did you
and
ever feel scared?
No. And I also like a lot of people like during their births, they're like what I was told a lot is like when you're in transition and when it's actually like your baby's like coming out, you're gonna get to a point and be like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. But I honestly like I never got to that point. I was never like, oh, I can't do this
Wow.
anymore. This is like too much.
Not
I
even
never-
internally in your own mind, you never felt like that?
No. I think there was one contraction where I was like, this is crazy. But it was never like I can't do it.
Yeah.
It was just like crazy intense. I was like, whoa. Like, oh my goodness.
Was that when your baby was actually like trying to come through the birth canal?
Yes. Yeah. And like I was so out of it, but I was so in tune with my body at the same time. And it's like when she was actually coming out, it's like, yeah, I just knew exactly what was happening, exactly where she was at. And it's just I trusted the process and I trusted that my body knew what to do. So it's like it just worked out and it was great for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was so perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was,
And what is one thing that you really remember during your labor, or even shortly postpartum, or anything that has stuck with you?
I don't know something like specific, but I think just the whole experience is so crazy. Like you can't even explain it. And like honestly, the feeling of giving birth, like your baby coming out of you is so crazy.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's so cool at the same time. It's like, oh my gosh, that is insane. Like it's a crazy feeling, but I like birth completely like transformed me. Like I literally went into labor a person and then I came out of labor a completely different person. It's like, oh my goodness, that was insane. I just went through like a portal or something.
Mhm.
Like
It is.
yeah, it was just crazy.
Transformation.
Yeah.
And then having your mom there, how did that feel? Like in that moment, her as your midwife and supporting you and help guiding you. But I feel like when I arrived there too, that you were in your zone
Yeah.
and everything was dark. You wanted it completely
Oh, I
dark in
wanted
that
it
room.
dark.
Black
Yeah.
in there, yeah.
I was planning my whole my whole pregnancy that I'm gonna have a nighttime birth,
Uh-huh.
and that wasn't what happened. But I was like, now I need it to be dark in here. I need my vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think having her as my midwife, it's like I think it just gave me another level of like trust with the whole process. Because it's like I knew that if anything were to happen, which is always possible, that it's like I'm gonna be okay. Like my mom is here. She knows what to do. She knows how to handle these situations. So I think just having that was another level of just like comfort and trust, I feel like.
And that's so amazing. Oh, goodness. And then moving on to Helena, like how would you describe your experience with your first, your baby, and just like your pregnancy leading up to birth again, and then like shortly postpartum?
My honestly, for me, before I gave birth and postpartum was much harder for me mentally than the actual birthing my baby.
Mhm.
For me, birthing mentally was super easy, but postpartum was really, really rough. And then just for me, the unknown, I like to do things like right now. Like if
Mhm.
I come up with a plan or something, I want it done right now. and having to wait for her to come was on her own time. That was mentally so hard for me. Like every day I was like, when is she gonna come? But that part in itself, I feel like not very many people talk about. Like just the mental struggles of like the end of pregnancy.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of hard for me. And I was having pretty much daily Braxton Hicks from like 28 weeks every day. Every single day. So I think that also maybe helped why I had a fast labor through it all. It could have, I don't know. But I was also pretty active in my last like trimester. I walked probably once a day, just trying to stay somewhat in shape for birth and stuff. But that was hard. And then the birthing part was easy.
But you also remember we also struggled with some blood sugar issues in your pregnancy.
Yes.
And I remember you specifically saying, I'm so healthy and I eat so good and I'm so active and take good care of myself. Why am I dealing with this? And we were for over a month. You were checking your blood sugars often,
every day.
and we were doing all kinds of different things to get them to stay in a healthy range. And that was that. I think that was the beginning of the hard for you.
The hard mentalness of it,
when you were like, oh, this is so much work just to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And
like,
then the
trying to find food that wasn't gonna hurt my blood sugar.
Yeah.
Because there was a few times I almost was like passing out.
Yeah.
And like I would take showers that I almost would be passing out. I'd be sitting on the ground like, okay, someone needs to come here. Yeah.
Yes.
But that was really hard. Gestational diabetes was really hard mentally. And then getting out of that, I feel like the last couple weeks though, I was like better though. Like I didn't have to worry about
we finally
my
figured
blood
it
sugar
out. But
or anything.
It was 4 to 6 weeks that we were really working, and she was having to figure out how she needed to
really
manage
just
that.
like diets, and like I think I went on a straight carnivore diet for like at least a week, and that like really regulated my body for some reason.
And then also I feel like you remind me if I'm wrong, but you were having to utilize like physical activity at certain times if you did eat the thing that you knew was a big trigger.
Yeah,
like,
for
oh, I
me,
hate
it
that.
was
I better
like-
go for a walk or something.
For me, if there was more carbs and sugar in something than protein, then I had to go do some type of physical activity immediately after, or I would feel really bad and possibly passing out. So,
and your numbers would just be off.
yeah, they would just weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happened. But the end of my pregnancy, blood sugar wise, was totally fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was
just,
we figured it out. You figured out the things that your body was asking for, and that's all it is. It's what is your body needing when you're having those symptoms? It's literally your body trying to tell you, I need something different, and then we just have to trial and error, and eventually you figured it out. Yeah.
Yeah. But really, it was just the waiting game for me and the uncomfortableness of the very end of pregnancy. And I remember, I think it was like 2 days, or maybe it was that day, I was over at your guys' house, and Micah was like, your baby's not going to come until you just accept that she's never going to come. And I was like, okay. And I was like, Micah, you just don't understand, okay?
This is a sister that has her baby on her due date.
Already has babies.
How many weeks were you when you had this?
I was only 6 days late.
Okay.
So she was 40 and 6 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't horrible. It's not like I made it to 42 or anything,
yeah.
but man, for me, it felt like forever. But yeah, it was that day. And then that night, I actually that day didn't have any Braxton Hicks, which was unusual for me. And then I went to bed as normal, and then woke up at 1:20 in the morning, and my water broke, and went to the bathroom, and there was meconium in my water. There was a lot of meconium in my water.
I was going to say, was there a little or a lot?
There was a lot. It was dark.
Lot.
You pooped in there real good in there.
Yeah.
So I immediately called her. She lives like 20 minutes away. So she came to my house immediately. My contractions instantly started like 2 to 3 minutes apart from then. They weren't super strong yet, but by the time she got there, they were every 2 to 3 minutes, not super strong. And then she checked on Amory now. Amory.
I listened to
my
her.
baby. And listened to her, made sure she was good since there was meconium and stuff in there. And she was totally fine. So she ended up was like, you go back to bed, try to go to sleep. And I was like, okay.
Who knows how long this is going to take?
And she left would try to go back home and get more sleep herself. And then I just remember crawling back into my bed, and then it like instantly, right as soon as I hit my bed, it was kind of similar to yours. It like got way worse. Like it like progressed so much, and it was still probably 2 to 3 minutes apart, but it was just ramped up another notch. I remember like laying on my side in my bed, like trying to do counter pressure to myself before I woke up my husband. And I was like, I think I only did 10 minutes of that. And then I woke up clean. I was like, you got to call my mom and tell her to come back. She probably didn't even make it home or something.
Yeah.
So you didn't even fall asleep. Got home and had to
No, I
turn right
literally
back
got
around.
home, lay down, and as soon as I closed my eyes, my phone rang. So,
And from then on, I was one that needed counter pressure. I was like, I remember at one point you had gotten back and Clayton was trying to do it, my husband, and I was like, "You're doing it wrong. You come do it for him." So then she had to do counter pressure for me from then on. But yeah, my sister's not Lizzie, but my other two sisters showed up at 4 a.m. or something like that, and then the contractions stayed really, really honestly, the intense wise kind of the same. Like for me, I didn't have a ramp up very much other than that one time right after you left. And then Amory was born at like 7:20. So I had like a 6 hour from start to finish birth with her. It was great.
Yeah.
And it started with her water opening.
Yeah.
And that's something that you told us after the fact. What
I
did you tell us?
manifested that for years.
Yes.
I was like, I remember specifically after a birth that we were at, me and you, and we had like a long drive home. I was like, Mom, I just don't get it. I don't know why people fight the contractions. Like for me, I want it to be as hard and as tense and as quick as possible, like have them back to back so that my baby comes faster.
Mhm.
And I was like, I hope my water just breaks and I just have a baby.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of what happened.
Yeah.
So I definitely manifested that from like age 17 on
Oh, that's awesome.
of me just having a super quick birth, but
Yeah.
didn't even really know it, but I definitely did it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
going back to how you said your Braxton Hicks actually stopped the day your water broke. Like,
Yeah.
awesome. I feel like your body like was like, okay, now time, and now it's gonna relax you and relax everything, your pelvic floor and all the things. And then boom, that was it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that tells
crazy.
you right there, like what relaxation and what trying to just release during, those end days of like being pregnant. And so I think a lot of women, they say, oh, I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna go get a massage or do acupuncture, or they try to do all the things, but they're still stressing about it.
Mhm.
They don't-
Yeah.
So it's still there's tension
Mhm.
because now you're still thinking, I gotta do this to get this baby here. I gotta relax. I'm like, what you're saying right
Your mind
now.
has to relax first.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And so that's what I try to tell my clients too, because I'm like, what you're telling me and like how you're telling me you have all these things scheduled throughout the week. And like now you have the stress of having to get to these places and, the
Yeah.
thought process of having to, especially if they have other kids, getting them taken care of and then getting to those destinations and doing all the things. And then they get upset because like things worked. And I'm like, it's not,
They
it's the
don't
minute.
realize.
Yeah, it's the minute that you just surrender, you can do that, but then be like, okay, I'm gonna see if this works. If not, it doesn't.
Mhm.
If it doesn't, they're just like, just
Oh,
oh well.
They'll
And
come
it's
one day.
yes, and it's really hard to get into that mindset because I used to be a very like type A controlling type person where I was like, I needed to have all the information and I needed to feel things were working in order for me to like know that it's doing something. And
Mhm.
so like I wanted to have proof of it, doing something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hold up a second. Like now that I know what actually tension feels like in the body, I've been working with that for a long time with myself. But now that I'm trying to help, teach other women what that tension actually feels like and how to relax yourself. And like our body just naturally wants to tense in certain, especially if we have other things going on, conditions. Like I like working with women that have like chronic pain or like autoimmune disorders now because it's like I know how to feel their body or read their body a little bit differently, and, like, they are able to, like, tell me too, like, what they feel or what the sensations that they're feeling within their body that they need to help release or relax in that mindset to help relax those areas to help them move forward. And so it definitely is a huge mindset that you have to like really work on in order for your body to properly release,
Yeah.
relax with your baby. Because I mean, that's gonna be the best thing for you too during labor as well. I mean, like when it comes down to fascia, like your fascia work and like your body, your mouth, your jaw, and how that's like, synced up with your pelvic floor. And people don't understand that until like they actually go through labor. And then I'm like telling them to help them like relax their jaw, or like I'm trying to like just gently touch their jaw or massage their jaw, or making certain sounds, those low sounds that help with, the nerve, the vagus nerve, like, stimulation to help relax that pelvic floor even more and
Yeah.
further using the TENS unit. Um, there's different things, but it's all, like, nervous,
Mhm.
I feel like, and I don't know if
Mhm.
Sabrina wants to speak on that some too, because we're talking about your experience and how both you girls were able to just kinda, like, were already in that mindset because first you were raised with a mom that was a midwife. So
Mhm.
you constantly heard her say in the house, I'm sure, what everything she teaches and practices and advocates for is the mentally, ingrained into your mind. And so it's easier for you to connect those dots and to be in that mindset because
Mm.
that's what you were taught.
Yeah, that's all I ever knew.
That's what you known. And so, like, even like Sabrina, if you wanna speak a little bit on that too, just like how important it is for that nervous system regulation, and then we'll get back to your postpartum too, because I wanna talk a little bit about postpartum
Yeah.
experiences.
Well, I think a big issue is that women are always trying to do all these things
Yeah.
coming from the outside inward to try to make them relax.
Yeah.
And they don't understand that it really truly is just a connecting with self.
Yeah.
And probably 24 or 5 years ago, I would have thought that was some woo woo, like that's some scary demonic woo woo stuff, you know? But but now, over the years, because I had to use those tools to have my first out of hospital birth 22 years ago, and in society today is so much about, I always describe it, giving your power away. You're giving your power. You want someone out here to fix something that's in here, in your mind and in your body. And we have to start taking responsibility for our own stress and tension
Yeah.
and not being able to relax. And obviously, we've talked a lot before about food, like mineral deficiencies,
Yeah.
can make it near impossible for a woman to truly do these things. But it really just comes down to, you don't need, yes, a massage can help you. Yes, acupuncture can help you. But if you're doing those things and not doing the inner stuff, then those things are not going to have much effect for you.
Right.
You really have to just sit with yourself. You have to sit with yourself and try to tune the world out. And you have to just go inward. You have to use your breath to connect with your body physically. And you just have to sit with yourself and just be okay with no more stimulation out here and just be.
Right.
And so for me, I teach that throughout pregnancy to my clients. And you guys got it when you were pregnant. I really talked about it, but you guys got it, from, just being in the environments of hearing me talk about these things too, of just breathing. You just breathe and put your mental focus inward into your body to become aware. Where am I holding tension?
Right.
Am I clenching my jaw? Am I dropping my jaw? Am I relaxing my arms? Am I have my hands open? Am I breathing? Am I breathing down into my pelvic floor? Or am I just barely
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, slow your breath? That's where
Mhm.
your oxygen's going to come to give your body the tools. And so it's, and I think it's beautiful because my children, a mother's desire is always that her children will just listen to her and do what she says. And I still, to this day, having 8 children, and my youngest is 16. So they're like all grown. I don't have control at all. But I still have nightmares that I am out in public with young children and they're not listening to me. And they run out in the road and get hit by a car. Like these are just like terrifying dreams that a mother has. Like, and it's just so crazy to me because I remember when my kids were young, my one thing was, I'm not making a bunch of house rules. You just need to do what mama says. Like I'm telling you what you need to do. And if I say do this now, I need you to do it. Now, every child struggles with obedience. And I have struggled as a mother hard, like a lot with like, why don't they just listen to me? Every parent is going to. You guys are going to get there. I know you're going to get there. But I would even say, and we can cut this out if y'all don't want it in there, but these 2 girls right here were my hardest ones raising. I'm going to be totally honest with you as far as pushing back against and like having their own strong-willed opinion.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just want to sit here and sob a river of joy because we're sitting here talking to these beautiful souls about bringing life into the world.
Yeah.
The biggest, most miraculous thing a human can do. And they actually did what their mama midwife told them to do and had good experiences for it. And it is just the most beautiful thing that I could ever ask for.
Yeah. Oh.
It is. Especially because these were the girls who did not listen to mama very good when they were little. Production man in the corner can say, yes, mom's right.
I feel like I'm in this like I was gonna say, I feel like I'm in this stage too of motherhood and at the moment with my girls, being young or teenagers. So it's just like, okay.
It's just such a beautiful gift that when it came to actually doing the biggest, hardest thing a human could do, they actually respected and valued my opinion so much that they did their homework and they did the things and they had a great birth because of it. Yeah. It's beautiful and I'm so thankful.
Yeah. Oh.
So I'll take all the young years of not listening to me when I'm like, don't run over there, don't do this or don't do that or whatever. But they did the most important things. They heeded mama's advice.
It feels amazing, like when you think that they're not listening, but they actually are. Like they were listening the whole time.
Oh yeah.
I'm noticing that with my girls too. Like that they feels like they're not trying to listen to your word or understand your viewpoint on things, but then something circles back and they actually took that advice and they used it without you even knowing. And it's like, oh wow, you did listen to me when I said that. It's like your words and how you raise your children and grow with them. It creates such an impact on who they are as they evolve into, young adults and mothers. Yeah.
And it's beautiful because I think that this is a beautiful example. And I'm just so we have to be walking what we're preaching. And if we're not, they're going to do as we do, not as we say. And these girls watched me give birth in the ways that I did and heard me talking about it way back when as a woman who was having the babies and then decided to help women. You know what I mean? It's not like I just had crazy hard hospital deliveries and then came out here and was a midwife. That's the whole reason I'm a midwife, because I had empowering experiences that then they witnessed. It's just crazy. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. And now I need a tissue. Sebastian needs to bring me a tissue. Yeah, Sebastian will bring me a tissue when he comes out of the bathroom.
I feel like another thing that helped both of us, we did stretches.
Yes.
Like every single night. Like I had my stretching routine down, and every single night I would make sure I have to do my stretches. Every single night.
It felt
and
good
I feel
too.
like, and I feel like that helped
pop right out of me every time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I bet that helped our births to be as easy as they were.
On the physical side, you were doing the things to make it physically a better process. Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, what you were kind of saying, I remember you came in with a comb, one of those little combs.
Yeah.
And that, like, I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And I squeezed the crap out of that comb. I was like, I'm going to put all of my
energy
into this hand, and I'm going to squeeze the comb and just relax the rest of my body. And it worked. It was like kind of crazy. Like,
yeah. And it's all about those pressure points. It's like that's acupressure. It's like what that is. But like that's what we were talking about with our nervous system and like the stimulation of our nerves. And like when Sabrina was talking about breath, like our diaphragm is a powerful tool. And now that I know about like with someone that has like I have an injury in my my neck, I know how like different parts of the nerves in the neck are synced up with your diaphragm, your heart, everything. So like people that have POTS or that have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, things like that, it can make it where our nervous system isn't working properly. And so those deep breaths, expanding your diaphragm, like it can actually change how your nervous system is handling certain situations, getting you like out of your like head or so through your breath. And so like when we were talking about the combs and like utilizing those tools, that's a huge thing to look up and make sure you have handy. People are starting to educate themselves more, I feel like, on that because I see people that don't have like a doula or whatnot, but I see like the combs present now. And so I'm like, that's getting out there because that is a huge tool to have in the birth space and understand because there are people are questioning why does that help? So if they're going to question why is there a comb that's just helping, then they're going to start looking into what the nervous system is and what it's doing to your body during labor and, birth and, shortly postpartum and throughout your whole entire life, honestly. So yeah, that's a good point. I like that you enjoyed your comb.
So it sounds like your guys' tips are stay active.
Yeah.
Listen to your body.
Yeah.
do your stretches.
Do stretches every day to keep that pelvis nice, open, and relaxed.
And do your breath work.
Breath work,
Mental work.
I also onto mindset, but like for me, I didn't let myself use the word pain. Like I didn't associate contractions with pain, and I feel like that also helped me a lot. Like instead, I just used it as a sensation instead of the word pain or this is painful. I refuse to like let myself even use that. So that helped me too.
I like that.
So you don't think you were experiencing pain when you were having your baby?
No.
Yeah.
I love that.
We talk about this all the time, but like I like even looking back on it, I don't really consider it pain. Like when I think of pain, because I've been through other painful things like tearing my ACL when I were going through a knee surgery or things like that. Like that is totally different to me than anything I experience with contractions or birth or,
Just intense.
It's just an intense sensation. It sounds kind of crazy when we say it, but it works, I promise.
So that's definitely a good mindset to be in when it comes to pain. Because pain, when you actually when you have like knee surgery or you tear something, that is something. It's not really like a rewarding experience either.
Yeah.
So in your head, get in your mindset that the waves that you're going through, those sensations that you're feeling, is working. It's your body. It's your body working with your baby. And all these sensations is what you and your baby are going through together for that baby to come earthside and to be in your arms. So that is like that mindset to be in, I feel like the most. And I don't even like using the word contractions, honestly. Sometimes I will, but like the waves, I just like hearing the word waves. It just feels like, because that's what it does.
Oh, it does.
It builds and it comes down, and it builds and it comes down. And sometimes I call it the stillness of the waters. So you'll notice that sometimes you'll have contractions every 2 to 5 minutes or 2-3 minutes. And then all of a sudden you'll get a break for like 10 minutes and you'll watch that mom just drift off. It's like she like just goes to sleep for those short moments. And it's that stillness time. And that's why when I feel like with hospital births, it's really hard for mothers to understand that, because you got the beeping, you got people staring at you, you've got fabrics that are not natural to you all surrounding your body. And so there's a lot of sensory, things that are like popping and intruding into your space.
Yeah.
And so for moms, I try to help protect that space for them because I want them to go through those periods of times before they start pushing their baby out. And so like I think those moments though are so beautiful. And if you notice like the way I capture a lot of those moments and when they're in that stillness.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously I capture the intensity too, because that's powerful, that's changing. But yeah, it's so beautiful to just watch natural labor unfold. And I can't even imagine being the mom and like seeing as a midwife and watching your daughters just take those words that she has talked through, your lives and use those words and tools to just birth their babies the way you guys did. That is amazing.
I mean, listen, they're
Yeah.
inspiring because
Yeah.
as a midwife and as a doula, we work with so many women having their first babies
Yeah.
that just have so many difficulties with giving birth. You've seen it with a lot of first time clients of mine when
Yeah.
you're there helping me during their labors. And it is just like, I remember coming back from a birth one time, probably 4 years ago, and I'm just like, I'm so mad at the world because they've broken women
Mhm.
and they've brainwashed them to believe that something's wrong with their body and they have to be terrified of this beautiful natural process. And it's just so sad. And then I watched the way you two have given birth in the last 2 years, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
yes, the world is going to be okay. There are some humans in this world who are going to powerfully and safely birth their babies.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been such an inspiration because I've been able to take your stories and tell them to other first time moms and say, listen, my daughters don't have anything special you as a first time mom don't have.
Yeah.
It is some specific things you have to choose to do. And when you choose to do these things, it will be easier for you. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done, but it will be easier than if you fight it the whole time.
Yeah.
And so it's just been so beautiful, like watching them do what they've done when bringing their babies into the world. It's just been very inspiring for me as a midwife, as their mom, and just yeah, it's just been amazing. But it's not always a cakewalk because like, yeah, your births went good, but you've both had some complications after the delivery itself and in your recovery. Helena, especially with her wild mastitis, that we're so fortunate that she did not end up like actually in the hospital with.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that journey or would you?
Yeah. No, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Because that by far was the hardest part. Even gestational diabetes was easier mentally than
Yeah.
breastfeeding. For me, breastfeeding was really hard. And I think Amory had some
She had some
bodily
fascia tightness.
things
Yes.
too that was affecting her latch. But yeah, I got mastitis on my left side really bad. And yeah, she said that she's never seen a case like mine before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, I had to get antibiotics for it. I think that's the only thing I've ever been on antibiotics for my whole life.
Oh.
was that, I think. That's funny. But yeah, that was rough. I ended up not breastfeeding my left side after that. I tried a few times, but I was scared to get it again on my left side. And then also it was like, I don't know, it was definitely, I definitely could have breastfed her on the left side if I really truly wanted to. But I think mentally at the time, I was already kind of defeated after being so sick. So then I was just like, it is
So
what it is.
this
And I
gr-
just stayed with the right side. And I mean,
You
just stopped breastfeeding a year and a half later. So
Okay. That's
So-
awesome.
literally just weaned her like a
like
week ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah, I weaned her. So
Okay, you are just like flying right over all the hard stuff, Helena.
Yeah.
I'm horrible at like talking through the steps. I'm sorry. So maybe you should lead it and I'll feed off of you.
Yeah. Well, I think you were like 5 days postpartum maybe when it really started flaring up bad.
Yeah.
And so anyway, she just had engorged like
My supply was so much, like both breasts were like rock solid. Like it was really
Yeah.
overproducing.
This is a time though, and I don't know, you be honest with me, but I feel like from the midwife perspective, you weren't doing the things your midwife was suggesting.
For what?
As far as like massaging it and
No, I
putting the
actually
baby to that
was.
side and like taking the things that I was suggesting. I don't know, but it was wild because she just suddenly went from having a hard warm spot to suddenly it was like she had a fever and she was feeling flu-like. It really changed from maybe a clogged duct to mastitis with a fever and body aches pretty quick, didn't it?
Yeah.
You think so?
Mhm.
I think it did. And then
I
it
mean,
turned into
I did do what my midwife told me to actually, but
I think you were already at
I
that point, you were so uncomfortable you weren't latching her on that side very often though.
I was trying. I did get to the point where I stopped latching her on that side because then I had that opening
Well, yeah, after the
whenever it
abscess.
started like abscessing, and then I was like, okay, she's not going anywhere near that side, and I'll just do what I
For
can
sure.
to release it.
For sure.
But I pumped like even through the night. Like I read things, it was like pump every 30 minutes to an hour to release it. I even woke up through the night, the first
doing
night,
that.
and was doing it. And then the next morning, it was like way worse.
Yeah.
So looking back on it, I think that almost made it worse. The over pumping.
Pumping it too much at that time because when it was
Yes.
already forming.
I think for me and my body, I think if I would have hand expressed, now like learning how my right side did from weaning Amory and stuff and things, like I think hand expressing would have been way better for me than any type of pumping.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of pumping frequently, for sure.
Yeah. So I really I did not hand express, but now looking back, I should have done that instead of pumping. But then, I mean, I tried all sorts of things to try. I did warm soaks, salt soaks. I tried everything to get that thing unclogged.
Uh-huh. And so you ended up with a high fever, flu-like symptoms.
Yes.
And then that's when we noticed it was starting to abscess.
Yeah. And the abscess, I mean, how detailed do you want me to get with it?
Yeah, but the point
I
is,
can't get detailed, but
I think it shifted very quickly, and I think
it did. It was like a 24 to like 48 hour. I feel like by 48 hours I was like really, really sick with it.
Yeah.
And it was hot, warm, swollen, like it was definitely infected.
Yes.
For sure.
And my thing is women don't realize how quickly that mastitis can really make them very, very sick very, very fast. We're actually going to have a mom on here in a few weeks to talk about her journey about that and how severe it can get. She like worst case scenario. And I really think you could have been on that path had you not had someone like your mom coming to check on you every day and helping make sure that your husband's doing the things to take care of you. Because as soon as you had a fever, we got you antibiotics. I'm like, this is beyond the holistic side. Like as soon as we have a fever and body aches with a spot that looks like that, we have to get antibiotics. And so we got you antibiotics, and you started taking them. But then the abscess was there, and that was what? 2 days of once it got open or draining and having to process the draining?
No, it was open for like a week.
Yeah, but the big icky
draining.
drainage was really, you tell us, is your body?
I think it was probably 4 days of like nasty stuff coming out of drainage. And then it was so weird. Then breast milk started coming out of the hole. It's like almost like, I don't even know how that could have happened, but it happened for like 3 more days after that. Like breast milk would leak out of the hole, and then then it
she's
started
not talking
closing.
about her nipple. She's talking about she had an abscess to the side of her breast.
Of
it was to the side
that
of her
opened.
nipple, not too far, like her areola. But
so that
it was a massive like cyst of infected ick. Yeah. And it's so weird though, because you had this weird mastitis that got really bad and out of control, but because we were doing antibiotics, but we were also mega dosing vitamin C like crazy.
Yeah, we were.
And I was there to help her with getting it to drain and making sure it's staying clean and helping her with all of that. And I think actually your sisters took turns to actually be with you for a few days, didn't they? Sadie was there for a while.
Sadie came the first day that I was like truly like
really sick. Yeah. Keeping an eye on you for me. But yeah, that was quite a journey. And it was so weird because you had that mastitis, and then 6 months later, Elizabeth gave birth to a baby that ended up having mastitis at a week old and ended up in the PICU.
Yeah.
She ended up having to go into the hospital at 6 days old because she had an abscess on her breast.
Yeah.
As a newborn. And now she's a case study at MU because her situation was so rare. But it's kind of crazy. But like what did I tell you at the time? I was like, my daughter's always teaching me something new that I've never seen before with this mastitis. My older daughter, her first few births were hard. They were rough and they were complicated. And so, but anyway, then she had a great birth, but then had this weird mastitis that was very, very severe. I mean, her abscess was like bigger than a silver dollar was the size of her abscess. And the open hole was the size of a quarter, probably. Would you say?
It was
a nickel, maybe?
Yeah, it was a little bit smaller than that. But
it was definitely bigger than a dime, the opening.
Yeah, I got pretty big.
Yeah, it was big. And so
it was scary.
It was just having to heal from the inside out. It was having to heal from the inside out.
It definitely did that, yeah.
But you would say that was like 10 times way more painful and worse experience than giving birth. Right?
Oh, 100%. For sure. I used to tell Clayton when I was very postpartum. Now I think a little bit different. But like when I was in the heat of postpartum still, I was like, Clayton, I'll honestly birth like 20 more babies if I could, but I'm not breastfeeding. That's what I told him. Now, obviously, I think a little bit different now that I've had a year and a half of like cooling down from the mastitis. But yeah, that was
traumatizing. The mastitis was bad.
Hard. Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious and asking, like, because you said you breastfed from one side. So how did that, like, I've actually never really heard that before.
Yeah.
So how did that go when you were nursing? Like when you just didn't really have any type of like engorgement at all on that one side? Your body didn't like it just
honestly.
How did that?
Did we use cabbage?
Did you use
cabbage?
I used cabbage like for a week, but I honestly don't know if cabbage works for me or not.
Okay.
Because I swear, like I would put cabbage on for like 2 hours because the studies show that it could like dry you completely out. And I'm like, this is my only breast that I'm breastfeeding on. I can't do that, you know?
Yeah.
So,
no, we're talking about the mastitis side. When you stopped feeding on the left side, are you asking, did she ever
for the engorgement on the right or the left?
The side that had mastitis.
The side that had the
mastitis.
How did you, like, was that side still producing milk when you were feeding her on the right?
It kind of didn't. It just stopped after my mastitis. It just, like, it was like a little bit and like, I don't know. I never had it. I think I put cabbage on it once or twice.
It did leak a little bit after it was fully healed. Like a few months later, it would occasionally
a little bit, but I never like got over supplied again on that side. Like it never like resupplied itself after I stopped feeding on it. Yeah,
and you didn't have to do expressing.
Nope, none.
I think the breast tissue was so traumatized from the
inside. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had to leave it open. It literally had to heal from the inside out.
Right.
And I think that breast tissue is probably so traumatized. It just never
I'll
really.
be interested to see whenever I do have my second baby, how breastfeeding does go on my left side, because even like I am slightly deformed now on that side.
Like you have a little concave.
Yes, I do.
Where it was.
So I am interested to see how the supply does happen for my next baby. Yeah.
That side, I imagine that side will probably struggle, maybe. Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see in a few years.
The body is amazing.
Yeah.
Kind of adapts or it like changes to help So when you're growing another baby, it's just like, okay, now we got to do this or
I'm normal
reroute this
now.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to reroute this way, and it kind of
Uh-huh.
goes around it. So yeah, that's interesting. That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, yeah. So yeah. One other thing I kind of wanted to talk on is like how with having, your mom as a midwife and just overall both of you with women, like how birth shaped you, because you said that after you had your baby, it was like this huge transformation, Lizzie. So we'll start with you. So how was that? Like when you talk about transformation, what was that for you? Like within in your mind, like what are you thinking about when it comes to transforming? Like how did that set you up as a mother from that
I
moment?
think, well, okay, before I got pregnant, I was very immature at that point. But I think just giving birth, I don't know, like it matured me like 10 years. I feel
Uh-huh.
like. And then it just, I don't know, like I literally was just a different person in like every aspect. Like to be a mom, like I feel like before I didn't have very good patience and like I needed like me time. But it's like I came out of birth, I'm like, okay, well, like I'm a different person now. Like this, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It was just such a crazy thing. Like I don't
Yeah.
really know how to explain it.
Do you
Yeah.
think it was more
But
just because you were a mom and now you were thinking about your child more so than just yourself? Or do you think it was like the experience of birth?
I think it was the experience of birth and just experiencing birth itself.
So that's what's bringing me to my other question is like when women feel empowered in birth and how it sets them up for their motherhood journey. I
Oh
think that is
yeah,
a huge thing because like when people
definitely.
are disconnected at birth and can disconnected to the experience and their babies, I
Mhm.
feel like it's a harder transition for them to be able
Yeah.
to connect in a way. And they can at some time, but I just feel like it takes a little more time for them
Yeah.
to figure things out. And for some women, it takes time too. Like for me, it was like a shock factor as well. Of course, with my first, it was it was a little bit more, I would say, traumatic with
Yeah.
certain things because I didn't sit well with me. And so I just didn't know any better at the time. But that kind of creates this disconnection and this overwhelm, maybe even some like paranoia or anxiety that surfaces during this like your postpartum period.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wanted to ask both of you that had, empowering births, how that has set you up and transformed you the mother you are
Yeah.
today.
Like
So yeah.
I couldn't imagine like just having a C-section or something and like not being able to experience like the whole process and everything because I definitely think that like feeling your body give birth and just experiencing like the whole thing definitely like pushes you to be ready to like be a mom. And I feel like it even helps you grow like a bond with your baby because it's like me and my baby are working together and it's like I literally just birthed this human like out of me.
Yeah.
Like this is crazy.
And you were fully aware of the whole process. You
Yeah.
felt every single thing of it.
Yeah.
And it's so sad to me how someone would want to get away from that.
Yeah.
They want to numb that. They don't want to feel it. And
Right.
it's because the experience is so empowering. Like it totally changed your life. It totally changed my life. And it just is that's what they like listen, it's a big deal why they are disempowering women
Yeah.
because they don't want women to step into their power of what they're really capable of. It is a big, huge plan to disempower society as a whole because when more women have births like what you guys have had and what I have had, we come out of there changed, more empowered. We could feel like we could take on the world. And we
Yeah.
know that we can do huge and miraculous things because we have,
Mhm. Yep.
right?
Yes,
It's just like, when
yeah.
don't get me on the pedestal. I will
I know, we
preach
can
for
talk
like,
about that some more.
I will just go on and on.
Whenever I think about birth, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to give birth again.
That's
Have
how I
another
always
baby.
was too.
Yeah.
But then it's like I think about postpartum, and I'm like, oh
Yeah, same.
Yeah, yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, and then what about you, Helena? What do you think with how motherhood has, the birth has shaped you and with your motherhood journey?
I don't know. Lizzie put it pretty well, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
She said it pretty well. I don't know. For me, being Amory's mom was the part, I think. Like, taking care of her was
And the best part,
the best
right?
and easiest part
Like
of the
anyone
whole
who
thing.
follows you
So,
on your socials knows that you just absolutely love being a mom.
Mhm.
thanks. I do love being a mom. So,
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
many moments. Like they're your little mini me.
Oh, for
It's
sure.
amazing watching them grow and their milestones and finding their unique personality too. It's just they're so different in like so many ways, but at the same time you're looking at a reflection as well because they're part of you.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a beautiful experience. And I'll say, like, as they continue to grow and develop their own personalities some more as well, like, you'll find things that are like, oh, okay, wow, this is like, you're like your dad there. No, you'll start saying things like that, but no, it's just this balance. It's just this beautiful event that unfolds as you continue to watch who they truly are and to teach them and direct them into the ways of like yes what your thought process is like just like Sabrina raised you girls with what she understands about the world or the society and like medications and the birth world and everything that you guys have been taught. You educated yourselves in the process. So yes, you
Mhm.
took her words, but you still took the time to educate and to almost like, like you're seeing patterns as well. You worked in these environments, and so you see the patterns unfold between, hospital births, different things that you see happen that you're just like, well, my mom is absolutely correct here, and you're
Mhm.
going to take that advice and run with it, and then that will continue to do its job with your kids, her grandchildren, and they will pass that on and create empowered women, empowered men that will support and love. Like we're talking about men too, like your grandsons, like that will be able to hold that space for women and so like when if you end up having sons, like they will be a whole different, breed of like human, but it's like because you're used to having daughters, but they will be able to be that safe space for their partners. And it's amazing to see this unfold in such a way. I think it's beautiful. And, having your kids here, sitting here with you and on what you do, and, oh, it's amazing, and I can't wait to get to that point in my life, like, 10, 15 years down the road and sitting with my daughters and talking to them like this, and just, like, them talking to me about what they've learned from you or from me, and
It's I mean,
yeah,
listen,
it's
having adult children is like an amazing gift. Like
yeah,
every day I look at all of them and I'm just like, how do I get to be your mom?
yeah,
Like, how did you get to be such an awesome human?
yeah.
Like every single one of them, I feel that in every
Yeah, they're so
because they're all
sweet.
so different and all so unique. And I'm just so thankful.
Yeah. Aw. Oh, well, is there anything else you guys can think of that you'd like to talk maybe some words to some mothers that are listening to this or some women that are, wanting to get pregnant, wanting to hear stories from first-time moms, like some words of wisdom that you share with them has really you think that helped your pregnancy, labor, or postpartum period?
I think the biggest thing is you have to trust yourself. Like you have to trust yourself and trust your body
The
and have
mindset.
yeah, exactly. But you have to like if you do not trust yourself to do it and your body to give birth, then like you're not I feel like you're not going to be able to experience that. So it's like that's my biggest thing probably. It's just working on yourself and just trusting your body.
And you what I interpret from what you're saying also involves a bit of confidence
Yeah.
in your body's ability. As you say trust and as you describe it, I'm like, that sounds like confidence.
I just feel like it's really hard for some women because like I feel like the whole hospital system shuts that down sometimes. And it's harder for women in those scenarios to like have that confidence and be like, yeah, my body knows what it's doing. So I don't know how
It's a whole
you would
different
navigate
paradigm.
that, but
It's just a whole different paradigm. It's like women who think and believe like you are here, and the majority of women are like on some totally different plane that's different. And it's like, I can't quite understand or grasp what you're saying, you know? But we want to connect that divide. We want to bring those women to be aware that they first off have options. And it does start with listening to their own intuition. And that's where it starts. And then that rest will kind of.
Like I was saying, just mindset, educating yourself on the process and everything that has to do with birth, postpartum.
I feel like the intuition, it also goes into motherhood. Like to have that. Like it's kind of small, but like when my daughter had like she was getting that mastitis on her chest, and it's like we really had no idea what it was at that point. And like it was before we went into the hospital, and it's like she had asked me because we had went to the chiropractors to see what they would say about it, but we were kind of at a stage where we're like, we don't know what to do next. And she had asked me, she's like, what do you think? Like, what are you feeling about this? And I'm like, I'm not going home. I feel like something is wrong. Like, we need to go to the hospital. And that was the right call. And it's like, you just have to trust yourself to like make those calls, like as a mom.
Thanks for having us.
You much. And talking with your mom and talking with the audience. Amazing midwife.
Yeah.
So lucky to have her here.
Yeah.
I'm lucky
She's
just
great.
to be here and to have all these amazing people in my life, really. Yeah, they inspire me.
All righty. Well, thanks for watching with us today and talking and listening to these beautiful girls and their stories and talking with their mother and what led them into being mothers. And so
Thanks, girls,
thank
for
you.
sharing your story.
Appreciate
It's going to
you.
be impactful to other mamas and you don't even know it.
All right. Talk to you guys soon.